Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I have another set of 4 cards. These are super easy to make, and honestly the inspiration behind these cards is the rainbow. We're going to be using the Simon Says stamp Be Yourself 6x8 clear stamp set. This is actually part of the July card kit, and all the products are going to be listed below. So we're going to begin with a piece of watercolor cardstock. When I am stamping on watercolor cardstock, I like to use my Misty. And the reason why is that watercolor cardstock has texture. And so I usually don't get the best stamping with it. So I like to use a stamp positioner to really get those even. Next, using my Simon Says stamp clear embossing ink, I'm actually going to stamp the honeycombs in that clear ink, come in with the white with the white embossing powder, and we are going to watercolor using Distress Oxides. So we're going to cover the whole thing with that white embossing powder. We're going to clear off any excess, and then we're going to run it through our heat gun. Once that is done, I'm actually going to grab a piece of acetate. So acetate is what you use for shaker cards. You can get it from packaging, or you can buy a sheet of it. So I'm going to begin by creating the rainbow using my Distress Oxides. And the reason I laid it on top of the card, 1, you can see it, and 2, you can see where the color is going to be smooshed. So by doing the watercolor smooshing technique using Distress Oxides, 1, it really allows you to take your ink packs to a whole different level, and you really get the most use out of them. Once you have your ink pads on the acetate, I'm going to spray it with water using my mini mister. And then I'm going to lay the watercolor cardstock, and that's what it looks like when it's dry. You can come in and add more layers if you choose. Now I'm going to start adding the little bees from the bee stamp set. I have stamped these and watercolor them individually and then hand cut them. For a finishing touch, I am grabbing my Tombow clear adhesive, and then I am using my crystal katana to use and grab the black sequins from the black and yellow sequin mix, also included in the Simon Says card kit. If you end up loving this card and not being able to get the card kit, I'll actually be listing all the individual products in the bottom of this video, and that way you can grab them if you so choose to. All right, guys, we are going to do card number 2. So we're going to begin with a piece of black cardstock. So this we are going to use the foil from the card kit that came included, and I'm not going to be doing any foiling, so we're going to use it as a background. We're going to begin by stamping our Just Because onto this card panel that I have cut from black cardstock, and then we're going to cover the whole watermarked ink with white embossing powder. Really wanted to create something bold, yet something that stood out. I'm going to heat emboss that, and once that's ready to go, that's what it ended up looking like. It's quite pretty. We're going to grab the gorgeous little hexagon wafer thin die, and we're going to cut 2 or 3 or 4 of the little combs out of it. Now I want to show you want to keep the little die cuts because we're going to be using them. We're going to come in with our card base. We're going to place flat adhesive, and then we're going to grab our foil, and we're going to place the foil over the card. We're going to make sure it's nice and straight, no bubbles, and then we're going to cut the back of it. So once you cut the back and trim it, we're going to place foam adhesive on the back of the black cardstock, and this is going to, 1, obviously stick it to the foil, and 2, it's going to raise it, and we're going to have a little raised panel on that black. We're going to remove all the backings of this foam, and then we are going to place it over that foil. And if you have any excess, I'm going to go ahead and cut that top. Then I'm going to be using my glue sponge. This is what's also included in the kit. Honestly, I didn't have this before. I really like it, so I'm really glad that it was included in the kit. Again, if it's not available, I am going to link below where you can get this. I'm I'm going to be using the crystal katana to really push down those little die cuts. And what the little die cuts are doing is just adding a little bit of texture and dimension to that foil. And then you can really tell that obviously it's a honeycomb. So I'm going to continue adding those little wafer cuts that we did. And now we are ready for our little bees. So again, I had stamped, colored, and die cut my bees, and I'm going to add them to the card. Last but not least, I'm going to be using the sequins from the black and yellow sequin mix, also included in the kit, and I'm just going to place them all over the place to really set off some of that coloring and that black, and it's just quite pretty. All right, for our third card, we're doing a square card, very clean, very simple. We're going to use the honeycomb from the stamp set, and we're going to using 5 different colors of ink. So these are all Simon Says stamp, and I have a variety of sizes. So I'm going to stamp these in a rainbow order, and that way we have a gorgeous little ombre honeycomb, and make sure that each color is represented on it. So as you can see, once you stamp it down, you have a gorgeous little rainbow. And honestly, I'm going to do some second generation stamping, and the reason why is just to add a little color, but it's not going to take away from that clean and simple that we're trying to achieve. Next, we are going to stamp the sweet using black ink. And then we're going to repeat the stamping of rainbow onto the other part of the sentiment. So we're going to do as much as we can. And you know what? It was super easy to be able to do this with the little ink cubes than the large pad. So as you can see, now we have sweet as can be. We're going to stamp the little heart right at that bottom with the black. And then we're going to add our pre-cut colored little bees earlier. And then we're going to place those right in the center. Then I'm going to come in with some glittery Nuvo drops, and this is not included in the kit, but it's just a very basic supply. If you have it, or you can use sickles, or if you have just clear Nuvo drops, you can just use clear Nuvo and then add glitter on top. And that does a really clean, very simple card, yet rainbowy, following our inspiration for today's video. And last but not least, we are doing some repetitive stamping. So guys, this is so fun. I'm coloring with Copics, and we're going to repetitively stamp the bees from the 6x8 Be Yourself stamp set. We're going to leave a little bit of room so we can actually stamp the little hearts, and that's where the rainbow inspiration is going to come in here. We're going to color the hearts in rainbow. All right, I'm going to continue this, doing some repetitive stamping, and then come back to stamp the hearts. I'm going to give a little bit of drying time, but while I stamp the hearts, I want to tell you about this ink. So this is the Simon Says Intense Black ink. This is designed for Copic markers, but if you watch any of my other videos, I actually used it in watercolors too, and it worked out really nicely. So I'm going to stamp as many hearts as I can, as this is going to be where we're going to color our rainbows. I'm going to bring in my Copics, and I'm going to color each little heart in a different color to create a rainbow motif. Then when I'm done getting all the colors of the rainbow using 6 to 7 different colors, I'm going to start coloring the shadow of my bees. So I really like doing some shadow and just selecting where the light's coming from. In this case, the light's coming off from the left, so the shadow's on the right. I have colored all my little bees. And then I'm going to come in with the Be Yourself. This is also part of the stamp set. I have stamped it, colored it in Copics, and then hand cut it. That little bee, I used an X-Acto knife to get that inner part of it. And that does it for this card. Super simple, lots of coloring on this one, but it's still pretty and rainbowy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to click subscribe to see more videos and check out all of our other channels. Thank you so much. Have a great day.